what do you all want to do individually to help make a change? Because we can talk about policy for sure. We can talk about voting and getting people in office who we believe will do the right thing, pass legislation that will help people, especially fundamentally when it comes to incarceration, when it comes to police brutality, when it comes to disparate treatment in healthcare, and so on and so on and so forth. I can go down the entire list. What do we do individually every single day as we're walking through and navigating through life, whether it's at work, play, in our normal average daily lives, to connect with people and to speak the truth about not just how African Americans live, but connecting with each other so that we all truly understand each other and empathize with each other and have more tolerance. How do we do that? How do you start, Rhonda?
So, Andrea, I had a conversation with Christiana, and I'm not sure if you saw her post, but it said faith without works is dead, right? So for me, it starts with us. It starts with, what can I do? It means that I'm going to have to be uncomfortable having some of those courageous conversations. I'm going to have to be uncomfortable with my team and bringing it to the forefront, trying to get perspective. Because at the end of the day, right now, we are in a revolution. To the point earlier, these millennials, they are, it's like they're tired, there's despair. It's like there has to be change. And we can start, everybody, we the people of the United States of America, it starts with us. It starts in your home. It starts with education. It starts with, having the dialogue. It starts with people that don't look like me reaching out, trying to understand their perspective. Everybody has a journey. Everybody has a walk. And we have to, if we're truly going to unite, I can't just unite with you, Andrea. I can't just unite with Marianne that's on the phone. I have to be able to unite with others that don't look like me and have those for real serious conversations, and take action.
Yes.
Action. We all are Christians here. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. Okay, that's all action, And I believe that the reason why this is getting so much attention as well is because there's action behind it. There's the boycotts, there's the protests. We have signs being held up. There were 300 demonstrators right here in Carmel and I'm gonna be honest with you, all of them were white. There was not one Black demonstrator out here. And as I rode by, I lowered my windows and I just said, thank you. And they start screaming back at me, you don't have to thank me. Because they kept saying, right is right. Right is right. And, Black lives do matter, and we have to really take the filter off, Andrea, and really understand that Black people are treated differently.
It's not just by police, correct?
It's not just by police. It's in the workplace. We're treated differently.
Marianne?
It's just that simple.
So it's through every aspect of life. I was watching CNN the other night, and I want to say it was Don Lemon, and his word was, I'm exhausted.
Yes.
I'm exhausted. Yep. Like, I'm exhausted, feeling as if I'm navigating as a Black person, navigating all these worlds and trying to fit in and trying to, and it's not assimilation, just trying to do what you need to do, whether it's at work, and not feeling that heavy load and the burden of being Black. Marianne, have you ever felt that burden, Jennifer, that burden of being Black in America?
Oh
And what does
yeah.
that feel like
Oh,
to you?
Yeah,
oh
that
yes.
burden.
I think with work, I've always felt that I've got to be better than my counterpart.
Yeah.
I can't just do my job well. I've got to be exceptional, just to be viewed at the same level as the person who does that comes to work every day. Um, all because I'm a Black, not just Black, but I'm a Black female.
Mhm.
So both of those things through my career, I've just felt that every day. Um,
And
and
how does
yeah.
that affect your body? How does that lead? Does that um, is it trauma? Is it kind of PTSD? Is it trying to live in both worlds, and you're just exhausted mentally and physically because it's just not free. It's just not, you're not living the life of privilege. You're not able to live a life where you don't have to think about all of these other microaggressions and living through these microaggressions. Um, what about that? You
Yeah,
say,
I think just the physical exhaustion.
mhm,
Um, because of my faith, the stress, I've had to rely on my faith over the years very heavily. Um, but it's more of just a physical exhaustion, just tired
mm,
of having to. And then also, my kids, telling them that you've got to go and do your very best. You've got to go and be better than your counterpart, um, because you're, a Black person in this world. You can't just go and do your job well. You've got to be exceptional, just to be treated at the same level as the person who just goes and does it well. But for me, it's just been exhausting, just physically exhausting.
it's a week. So what about for you, Jennifer?
Yeah, I feel like my previous jobs, I could feel, it was tangible. It
Hmm.
was, I could feel the racism and the difference between, you know, uh, how I was treated, where, my counterparts were getting away with a lot of things, hanging out, taking extra smoke breaks, and doing other things that I had to, put my head down and stay focused. But this job that I have now, I work for an insurance company. They have like forums.
Mm,
um, like they don't play that. They have forums. They have an African American forum. They have the all the LGBT. They're supportive in a lot of things. So that's what I like about my job now, um, is that we do have a voice there. And so you said, what can we do to create change? I could go ahead and you know make my voice known in that, because I really haven't. I know that forum is there, but I have not joined. I get the emails saying, hey, we have this forum, do you want to join? And it's like, I don't want to be the one, because I felt so guilty, because as soon as we know, that it's because I'm Black is the reason why that happened. But as soon as you voice that, then you get that pushback. Oh, here they go with the race card. So I'm just like, okay, I don't want to seem like I'm a victim, and I don't want to play the race card. So I just don't even participate. I just ignore the emails. And so, but now I think that, for me to create change and to make things go forward, like you said, this should be a movement. I should join that forum. And then, my job has the, what do they call, cultural sensitivities.
mm,
They have that, where they have that training where you put yourself in other people's shoes. I love the environment at my job. I don't know if I can say the name of my job, but
That's amazing. That's amazing. What about for
That's
you, Catherine? Where do you go from here? How do we
Well, I'm
change
going to
that?
continue doing the same thing I've been doing all my life since age 10. I'm very outspoken. I love everybody, but I don't play. And I will call you out. I don't care if you're the CEO or who you are. And I have done it over and over again. I'll do it nicely at first. I'll check you. I have called people out for using N-word. In my 63 years, that word has never
come out of my mouth. It will never. I have no right. I will not say it. Um, I've checked a lot of people. I still check a lot of people. I've had people run from me as far as walk away. Uh, it starts in your inner circle. Me being a white person marrying outside my race in '76, I've been checking and speaking out and loving on people. I was blessed with a family that accepted my husband and loved my children. And I can only say that it starts with the inner circle. You need to check them. And sometimes uh, if it just gets to the point where I might even have to love you from a distance because I'm not going to allow you to disrespect my children, uh, my grandchildren, me, my marriage. You know, my husband is deceased. We were married 30 years, but it's been my whole marriage. I've been checking people, and I hope it doesn't sound mean the way I'm saying it, but I just cannot sit back
Yes,
and let people talk like that, from Hispanic jokes to, that just starts there. And I've had people know that I am was married to a black man. I have 2 biracial children. They know it, and they will say a filth. I mean, I like jokes too, but don't do that racist stuff. I'll check you, and I've checked about Hispanic jokes, and 99 times out of 100, I'll render them speechless. Not mean way, just with my words.
Speaking
That
of
is my
opposite, speaking of
that is my saying. I've always said.
render them speechless. It's so funny when you say render them speechless. It reminds me of what a lot of people have been saying this week, is that if you're silent, you're complicit in the racism behavior.
Exactly.
If you're silent, you're complicit
Yeah.
in the racist behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the biggest things that people like me can do, people that are white, my first responsibility is to listen. So just because I have biracial children and just because my husband is Black, I need to know that does not make me a part of Black culture. It doesn't, I get to partake of it, but it doesn't make me understand what it is to be Black in America. And even I don't have a privilege into the culture. I'm grateful that I do get to be a participant, but I don't understand what it is like viscerally, physiologically, to go to the mall and go shopping and drive in my car and do a bunch of other things just because, the rest of my family is Black. So I need to know, one, that I need to listen to their experiences. I need to listen to your experiences. I need to listen to the experiences of other people and don't presume to speak for a culture based on my experience with it. And then I need to talk to people and explain to them why you don't understand. I don't understand. And I think that's the first thing that I saw today on a social media post. A person was saying, well, I've had this experience prior where I was in another country and I was discriminated against because I was American. And when I talk to African Americans about, this experience, they say I don't understand, but I understand what it is to be discriminated against. So I responded and said, what you understand is being bullied and being harmed, but that experience is not the same experience of what Black people and people of color in this country experience. And so, for me, I just think it's important to listen. It's important as a white person to be a student and to learn, and then to communicate to other white people. It's okay to intellectually understand. I do understand that intellectually, but experientially is something very, very different. And we need to give that affirmation to people and say, when you do, like I was saying before, if you don't know what to say, I don't know what that experience is like, but I'm sorry that is the experience. And I'm going to do my part to communicate to other people about your experience and why this is wrong. Because there's still a lot of people on social media and chatter that they're not understanding what Black Lives Matter is. They're not understanding that they don't understand, because there's just this resistance. Maybe it's rendering themselves powerless to say, well, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. So I think it's just important to be honest, to listen, to do your best to communicate that and to take a stand. Like she was saying, it is important to not tolerate certain behaviors, but there's more than that. We still are learning, and we need to be educators and to share the burden with our African American friends in communicating the message, to share that burden. So you're not so exhausted. Maybe I should take on some of the burden of communicating from you to people that are white, rather than expecting every Black person or a single Black person in every white person's life to bear the burden of explaining racism. That's not fair. So how about I share that burden? Because that I can do. That I can fight and talk to and communicate and correct against people of my own race, and use that influence and use the privilege. That's just honest that there is white privilege. That doesn't mean a person's proud of it or wants it or likes it, but you have to use it so that you can share the burden to help people not be so exhausted, to change the system, and to change individuals and their perspective.
Last question for all of you. What do you say to someone who says what happened in Minneapolis, the fact that now the 4 police officers have been charged, that this is all political? Because we're looking at the police union there who says they're going to vigorously fight, as well as they should, defend those 4 officers. But when there's video that is clear as day, and you have a man whose breath, you're literally watching him die, and his breath leave his body as he's calling for his mother. What do you say to people who are thinking or have even voiced that this is political, this isn't real, what you saw isn't real, that there was no intent? What do you say to that naysayer? Rhonda, we'll start with you.
I would have to say, if you go back 400 years, I think I started with this. 1619, slavery began. 65, it was abolished. But we still all had the hopes of being free and being of like kind and quality, and in comparison to the next person, okay? In 1954 to 1958, another thing happened. It was our civil rights movement with the same goal, to be free, to enjoy the same rights as everybody else. Okay, let's fast forward 50 years. Now we're in a revolution. And what are we talking about? We're still talking about the same thing. Racism. We want to be treated equal. We want to be treated to our counterparts. I mean, we want to be treated fairly, looked upon fairly. And this is not political. This is simply racism in America. And so we have, to everybody's point on the phone, we as a country have to do our part. And part of it, again, is a change of the heart, because the heart controls the mind, it controls the extremities, it controls all parts of your body. The heart does. And so we have to make that conscious effort to make change, because otherwise, Andrea, 50 years from now, we'll be talking about the same thing. And we're at a point now that enough is enough. Change has to happen, and it is. I am very encouraged, even though the last few months have been tragic. I see a gold lining, and the gold lining is simply this. Look at all of us on the phone together. Look at our companies. They're having the conversations, taking action. Look at the streets of New York, of Indianapolis, all the different states. Everybody is banding together to say, you know what? Enough is enough.
Thank you.
I can't breathe. That means I'm invisible. You don't see me. I have nothing coming out of my mouth. seriously, being silent. We're not going to be silent any further. It's just that simple.
Marianne, what do you say? What do you believe? Is there hope? Do we still have hope for a better
Oh,
future for our children?
yes, I definitely believe there's hope, and I agree with Rhonda. We're at a point right now where we're not going to be silenced. My second oldest, a 26-year-old, we had a conversation just this week, and he was telling me that they're just not accepting the status quo, the way things were.
Right.
That he wouldn't be surprised if there would be, even if it meant that there has to be a civil war, it's not going back to the way it was. So I believe there's hope. Unfortunately, we've had to have the violent side of the protest to get to where we're at, to get the attention that this is now getting. And I'm a nonviolent person, so I hope that part goes away. But I think the conversations have started. I think we have people now paying attention, now realizing that we cannot continue to have this systematic racism that's existed. It cannot continue. And I think that's where we're at. And I'm believing that things will definitely be, improved for the better from this point forward.
Amen. Catherine, your last thoughts. Is there hope?
Yes, there's hope. My motto has always been love more, hate none. But I won't be silent. And like I said, what we're seeing all over the world, this is not going away. And I'm proud that I don't like the violence, but you know what? Desperate things sometimes require desperate measures, and we are at a desperate time. And personally, I do know what it's like to be backed up against the wall in a life or death situation and snapping. Everybody has a breaking point and a snapping point. And I will continue to use my voice. I would have marched myself with my daughter and my oldest granddaughter Friday, but I'm recovering from major surgery, and I knew it wasn't the right thing to do. But I always tell my grandkids and my daughter, I said, until my last breath, I will be there with you. I won't go out like that. And I thank you for allowing us to have this conversation, Andrea.
You're so welcome.
You mean a lot to me.
Likewise.
You mean a lot.
Likewise. Thank you, Catherine. And I love Lauren, and I miss Lauren. Just know that.
Thank you.
Just know that. Jennifer, last words for you.
Yes. I say to someone that tries to say it's political, like it's not political. Like, hold your breath for just 2 minutes and see if you can do that. And this was 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Everyone saw it. So it's not political. It's everyone went out, and the citizens of America, we all went out, protested, and our voices were heard. So it's not about politicians getting elected. It's about the citizens. It's about America being heard to hold fast to our civil rights and things that we like. That is something that we should have, that we should have our civil right. We should have a voice. And I believe now that there has been arrests and the other 3 were charged, and then the other one, the charge was bumped up for the intent. We now have the intent because they heard the body cam tape recording. So I'm just saying it's not political. It's reality. It is what it is. It is, we were heard. And so now it took all of that, like she said, desperate times called for desperate measures. And it was like, no, not another one, not again. And so that's what we did. But I want to say, and I've been wanting to say, when people say, I don't see color, I don't like that.
Right.
Because you know what? I want you to see color. You know what? I see color every time I look in the mirror. When I'm putting my makeup on, when I'm doing my nails, guess what? When I'm showing off my nails, guess what? My hands are black. You know what? When I'm putting my clothes on, my hands are black.
That's right.
So when you see me, I want you to see my color. The problem is don't treat me unfairly because of my color.
Right.
Those are two
That's the
different
thing.
things.
Yeah, that's two different things. See me. Yes,
Yeah.
I want you to see me. People say I'm colorblind. I don't see color. Well,
Oh.
wait, if you don't see color, you don't see me, pumpkin.
Right.
I am color.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm color. I'm black.
Right.
And I can't change that. There's nothing I can do. My arms are black. My
Nor
legs
should
are
you.
black.
Mhm.
Guess what? My ears are black. I mean, like my whole everything is black. When you part my hair, my scalp is black. I'm black. See my color. But
Right.
the problem is, don't treat me differently
Right.
and don't treat me unfairly. Give
Right.
me the benefit of the doubt, even though you see that color. See
Right.
me,
See,
but just
humanity.
don't discriminate. That's right.
Absolutely. And last words from you, Jaylee. Hope.
Yeah, I love exactly what Jennifer was saying, because I think those two things go together, that it's not political and that there's hope, because that's exactly what I was going to say. The same thing that people will say from that political stance, well, I didn't see a black man, I just saw a man who is suffocating. Well, then you're blind, because your brain will tell you if someone's fat or skinny, or your brain will just make these connections naturally. So to say that, the hope is this. The hope is, one, recognize that myth that I don't see you, I'm colorblind, because that's actually an insult. It's saying specifically, I don't see you. And that, so the hope is that, and the answer to why it's not political is because when we all look at that video, we all see a black man. And anybody that says anything differently sort of needs to challenge their own honesty with how they're thinking about it. And now the hope is we can get rid of that myth, right? Because we don't want to tell people we don't see them. We want to say, I do see you. I appreciate you. I appreciate that your culture is different, that your skin is different, that your hair is different, that your whatever it is. We want to see that because we want people to know that they're seen. And I think our kids do see that, our adult children and our kids, they see a world that is culturally diverse. They want it to be that way. And so I think for me, that is the hope, is that we're seeing kids that are banding together, and young adults, and even in this conversation where we're having conversations where maybe we wouldn't have at our jobs, or we're, talking about things and we're seeing things and we're not uncomfortable about it. We can get rid of some of these myths that we've been perpetuating in America because it sounds good to a particular culture, but it's an insult to another culture. And we've never really had that conversation to say, hey, yeah, that's really insulting. Because then you don't want to say, oh, that's the race card, or you're being sensitive, or no, let's just be real. Let's just be real, and let's be hopeful about our future, where we can say, we're not going to say that anymore. We're going to see color. We're going to recognize it, and we're going to recognize the impact. And not only, Jennifer, you said, and I mean, I can't change that. And you shouldn't ever have to say that, because it is beautiful and it is powerful. And so I just think that's where there's hope, is that we can start to dispel some of those things and really live a better truth as who we are as human beings in this country.
Truth. Yes.
I feel like I've been to
Preach,
church.
girl.
I think I've tried. There's been a little levity there, but there's been also some truth. And it's good to vent. It's good to talk. It's good to have real intentional conversation. And I can't thank all of you all enough for opening up your hearts, opening up your souls, your spirit, and just being willing to speak your truth and to speak to the masses, because I think this is what needs to start, is for us to be honest and have conversations with one another. And when we do that, there's nothing as humans, there's nothing that all of us together cannot accomplish, but it does start at home. It starts with all of us being honest and having these really, really difficult conversations. But through the storm, what's after the storm, y'all? What comes after the storm?
That's right.
There's always
Sunshine.
a rainbow. And the
Rainbow.
rainbow is multicolored. It's all of us. It's all of us. It's all of us. So there is hope.
Yeah.
Last thing I would
Preach,
tell you,
Andrea.
I know, right? I just went to church. Where I was here.
Where do I send the offering at?
There's always the rainbow. But let me have each of you go down the line.
Let me get my fan.
I know.
I got mine in the back of me.
Let's get the tithes and offering going on.
I know.
But I
That's
just
the
wanna
offering
say,
plate. That's the
Andrew,
offering
I
plate.
do want to say,
Yes,
just
ma'am.
like, when you were going through your battle and everything, the thing that kept you going all this time was prayer.
It's prayer. Amen.
It's prayer.
The prayer and the support of all
Faith,
of us, of people.
a wing and a
of
prayer.
faith. Amen. Amen.
I believe that the
Yes.
change of the heart,
Change
the
of the
mind
heart.
will follow.
Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So
I love you, Andrea.
I love all of you guys. This is my little tribe. I love you all so
Thank
much
you.
for spending time with me. Let me have you go right down the line and just say your name and tell me how many children you have and their first names, and we'll say goodnight. Start with you, Rhonda.
Rhonda Chin. I have 4 children. Jasmine, age 31, Christiana, age 24, Kristen, age 19, and little Christopher, age 18. Andrea, you call him Baby Chris.
He's still my baby Chris. All right, Mary Ann, since you're short.
Name's Mary Ann Short, and I have 4 sons. My oldest, Marcus, he's 30. My second, Joshua, he's 26. My third is Andrew, he's 21. And my baby is David, he's 19.
Such a great, strong biblical name. And Catherine.
My oldest daughter ever, EVH. I am Catherine Crowner. My oldest daughter is Ever, EVHER. She's 42. And my baby is Lauren, forever 25 in heaven. And my oldest granddaughter is 19. Her name is Anaya. And my grandson is 13. And his name is Jeremiah, the weeping prophet.
Amen.
And my youngest granddaughter is Ayani, and she's 12.
Beautiful.
And I'm proud.
Beautiful. So beautiful.
Aww.
Thank you so much, Catherine and Jennifer.
Yes, I'm Jennifer Rogers. No D in there, just R-O-G. R-S. Like Kenny Rogers.
Like Kenny Rogers.
And I have one whole child. That's it. It's my son. That's all I have. His name is Kevin, and he will be 28 this year. He's 27, so he'll be 28. And I'm so proud of him. He serves our country. And yeah, I hope you guys, each one of you, get to see his picture. I want you to see my baby. I'm proud of my baby.
He is so handsome. We're proud of him too, and thank him so much for
Thank
his service. And
Thank you.
Shaylee, last but not least.
My name is Shaylee Baker, and I have 3 amazing kids. My oldest is 23. His name is AJ. He's named after my husband, Algernon. And my middle one is my baby boy. He is Caleb, and he is 17. Doesn't think he's a baby. And our true baby is our daughter, Mariah, and she's 13.
All right. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
We need to do more of this, and I'm hoping that this story will begin sending the message to other people that they too can have these conversations, and it doesn't have to be. It's not bad. It's a good thing for us all to talk and get to know each other,
Yes.
and for us to really connect as human beings. And like you said, Jennifer, I want you to see my color, because my color helps define my race. It helps define
That's right.
who I am. And it's okay. It's okay for us to be able to talk about race and to get to the other side. We want to get to that rainbow. Let's see that rainbow.